So far, we've just been showing pods from a fixed date range, so from today all the way back to December 1st, 2021. Let's fix that. Let's add the ability to get the newest pod when the user comes back to the app or when they pull down to refresh. And then following that, we'll add the ability. We'll add a very ugly button for now, just to let them tap it to get like the next 10 or perhaps 30 pods and add those to the core data store. And then maybe just think for a minute about if there's gaps there. We may have to do that in a different video in the future. So let's get started and let's go into our date extensions. And let's create a function that returns the date some number of days ago. And couldn't really think of a good name for this. I might end up changing it after the video, but wanted to get this shot. We're going to say given some date, which will be self, let's add some amount to it of date components. And those date components will make it days, number of days, a negative amount to self, which is the date that we're extending. And failing that, just return the date that it was given. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, that way we don't have to check for optionality. And like I say, if we rename this cleverly enough, we can maybe do something different. And really, it might be best to just keep this in line. I'll let you decide on your project. You know what's best for your project. Okay, and now in network, I want to do a couple of things. I'm going to move our start and end dates inside of our function. And then I want to make some changes here. What we want to be able to do is pass a from and a to date. I don't want to have to, it gets a little repetitive if we have like from in the call. The underscore means that we don't have to include that in the signature. And then here, instead of that fixed date, let's set that to from. So that's our start date. And then to. And I think that's that should do it for here. Yes, that's good. I might just get rid of count. We haven't used it in some time. I think I might leave it just in case we want to add an additional function later. We're just going to leave it as a little note to ourselves. So we have some problems here right off the bat because we can't just get pods anymore, which is fine. We're going to fix that in a moment here. So first, let's extract our save function into like its own little private function. And you'll see why in a minute here. We're going to have to use it a number of times. So rather than repeat this code, we'll just have it here. And let's just pass it a date to date. So at least it compiles for now. There's some obvious problems with that. This code's kind of unrelated to what we want to do, but in order to test it, we need some way to delete stuff, right? Otherwise, there's no way for us to know whether or not we have the code working. We don't want to have to wait until the next day to come back. So let's add a delete method. And we'll have it, we'll pass it a pod. And it will delete the given pod and then attempt to save. And in order to have that where we can test this, let's add some swipe actions here. and we'll add a button, and I think what we'll do is just have the button say delete as the name. Actually, let's try that again. Let's do, I think we're going to need a label for this. So let's pick this one. And we'll say label, and then that could be a string protocol if we want. Delete, and we'll give it the trash image. I'm going to set the tint for this to red, and then we will call our little delete function right there. Make sure that compiles. And then I think one additional thing here, let's put it in if debug check so that this only runs when we're in debug mode. Oh, there we go. Can't find delete in scope. See if we can help it with that. Oh, that's really odd. Well, let's get rid of that for just a second. Not sure why that's not compiling. Let's see what it's saying. Oh, okay. We'll just pass it some dates for now. Oh, let's actually get rid of this. This is a file I started to add. I regret not deleting it now because it's messing up our video. Let's see if it builds now. End if. There we go. I was typing that backwards. So we'll see that we can delete it. And we can crash when we pull. And that's okay. Let's add just a little more code real quickly so we can test this. I think inside our list here, let's make a new section. And let's add a couple of buttons here, and they don't need to be fancy. We're going to have them here, hopefully temporarily. I'll say a task because it's async. We'll say get new. We haven't written these functions yet, but we'll write them in a second here. Get old, and I think we should also wrap these in a if debug. We just want to make sure these don't leak out ever. Oh, we're missing a closing bracket and some parentheses. Ah, I see. They got separated somehow. Okay, we don't have that get new function yet. So let's go ahead and write that. I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I think that's just too far. Huh. I'm just going to copy it from my notes here. I can't see what's going on at the moment. Okay, there we go. Compiler's not happy. I might have to change the order of this, but or maybe just soldier on. Let's see. Okay, so pretty much we want to get rid of this. First thing we could do is maybe just replace that with our new save functionality. But let's make a new one called get new. And we want to see if we can get the date. Let's get the newest one, and we'll set it as the from date. And we'll set the to date to today. And just so we're not doing a lot of extra network calls, let's, using the system's current calendar, let's compare these dates from to to with the granularity of day. We could really just say, if not, same, but let's say order descending, just to be specific. And we hit the network with our two dates. We've got perhaps one more. Yes, if it's not nil, then we save. Oh. So if we get back a result, we'll save it to our core data store. And we want to do something similar to get the old ones, like an older set. So when they press that button, we're going to get some set amount of them. Very much the same as last time, except we want to set 2 first. We'll get the last one in our results from our fetch, and we'll get 1 day off. Not really necessary. It'd be fine without this. It just prevents a little bit of overlap, although that would get eliminated once we try to write it to the store. And then we'll say, let's get the last 30 days of pods. We'll hit the network again, and once again, we'll pass it our from and to dates. We'll check if we get a result, and if we do, we'll save it. So let's see what we get now. Okay, let's try this first of all. Hasn't crashed so far, that's a good sign. Let's pull the refresh, and we see that it reappears for today's date. Let's scroll to the bottom. You see I've been busy testing our new code. We see our most recent or oldest one is August 7th, 2021. Let's get the oldest one. It's kind of, that wasn't too bad. It was maybe a little odd without an animation. So let's go back up here to our fetch request. I'm going to add some line breaks just to make it a little easier to read this and to add on to it going forward. Let's add a few things. It's always harder to add it later, but let's add a predicate, but we'll set it to nil for now. And then an animation. Default. No, we want animation default. Let's see if that compiles. And I may bring this, I'll bring this up here, that's fine. Let's run it one more time. And first let's get some old ones. And we see it animates. Nice and quick, but at least there's something there. Let's delete this one. And then let's pull the refresh. No difference there, but we can maybe do something about that in a future episode.